5-6, least common multiple. This is probably going to be the most unpleasant lesson you're going to find in this chapter. It requires more work than any of the other lessons, especially since we've been just having some relatively easy things. It's going to require you to do factor trees again. So we have 108. Find the factor tree for 108. That's going to be 2 times 54. 2 is prime, 54 is composite. 54 is 2 times 27. 27 is 3 times 9. And 9 is 3 times 3. 108 is 2. 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 2 squared 3 cubed. Today we're going to want them in exponent form. 240 can be broken down into, and again we want to go smallest prime number first, 2 and 120. 120 is composite, 2 and 60. 60 is composite, is 2 and 30. 30 is 2 and 15, and 15 is 3 and 5. So 240 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. And we want that in exponential form. It's going to be 2 to the 4th power times 3 times 5. Now, when we found the greatest common factor, when we found things they had in common, we circled the things they have in common. For this one, the LCM, the least common multiple, is actually going to be the largest of the things they have in common, along with all of the things they don't have in common. So the largest of the things that they do have in common, they have 2's in common. We have 2 to the 2nd power and 2 to the 4th power. 2 to the 4th power is the larger of those two similar things. So they will have 2 to the 4th power in common. They have 3's in common, 3 to the 1st power and 3 to the 3rd power. We're going to take the largest of what they have in common with the 3's. That is 3 to the 3rd power. And then finally, after we have all the things they have in common, we take everything else they don't have in common. In this case, they just have a 5 extra. So the least common multiple is 2 to the 4th power times 3 to the 3rd power times 5. Here we have something a little bit more simple with the numbers. However, we're throwing variables in there, which is what we need to do. 18 is 2 times 9. 9 is 3 times 3. So 18xy squared is 2 times 3 squared times x times y squared. 10 is 2 times 5. So 10y is 2 times 5 times y. So now let's take care of the LCM of 18xy and 10y. We find what they have in common. They have a pair of 2's in common. They have a 2 to the 1st power in the top and a 2 to the 1st power. They're the same, so we'll just take 2. Do they have anything else in common? They have y's in common. On the top I have a y squared, and on the bottom I have a y. We'll take the y squared because it's the larger of the two quantities. Now we look for the things that are just extra, they do not have in common, but we need them. On the bottom I have a 5. On the top I have a 3 squared. I also have an x on the top. So my least common multiple is going to be 2 times y squared times 5 times 3 squared times x. I'm going to clean this up a little bit to make some sense out of it. We're going to rewrite that as 2 times 3 squared times 5 times x times y squared. Expanding that out, that's going to be 2 times 8 times 5 and xy squared. We're just going to leave the variable stuff alone because we don't need that. And that is 16 times 5 is 80 xy squared. So the least common multiple for 18xy squared and 10y is 80xy squared. Your homework is page 229, 16 to 52, the evens.